Welcome back to Checkmate with Blake, and in this video I'm going to teach you guys 5 different checkmate patterns that you should know to win more games. Now these checkmating patterns are not your basic checkmates. These checkmates depend on coordinating your pieces to create these unique scenarios where you'll have checkmate. Now why am I making this video for you guys? Because I believe that these checkmates that I'm going to show today happen more often in your games than you guys realize. And by watching this video, I think you guys will see how many of these positions might be similar to positions you have in your games. And these checkmating patterns are things you need to know because you are missing checkmate in your own games. Now, before we get right into the video, I do want to say if you enjoy this video, please consider giving it a like. It will help the channel grow. It'll help promote the channel, and consider subscribing if you want to join this community. And also, I have a very exciting announcement I want to make. I am officially live for private chess coaching, for one-on-one chess coaching. If you're interested in one-on-one chess coaching, I'm going to attach a Calendly link in the description below, maybe in the comments as well, and you can press on that link and you can book your first appointment. I look forward to meeting you guys. Again, we are officially live for chess coaching. So if that's something you're interested in, please check the description to join that. We also have membership tiers if you want to consider supporting the channel or gaining access to some additional features. We'll go ahead and get right into the video. As I said, these are 5 different checkmating patterns that you should know. Now, this first one is very, very common. And if you're an advanced player, you may look at this and immediately know what the checkmating pattern is. But what is special about this position? Because oftentimes you'll find that you have these rooks connected. But if you just take and give checks, you're just going to give endless checks and you're never going to have a checkmate. But what is special about this position? In this position, we are going to coordinate our rooks and our pawns. Because what you notice, this pawn is actually going to be the key to checkmate. Because what we do is we take and force them over. Now when we take here, this pawn supports this rook. And by supporting this rook, it allows us to now give this check because our rook cannot be captured because of this pawn. So the key point in this one is if you have a pawn that's on the third rank, I guess this one's technically the 6th rank, it can support one of these rooks, which allows the back rank checkmate. So use your pawns and your rooks to have these checkmates that you may not normally see. Now, on the second one, we're going to be talking about queens and rooks. We're going to coordinate our queen and our rooks to have a checkmate. Look at this position, because in this position, I think this is something you guys have in your games all the time. And I bet that most of you probably miss the checkmate that I'm about to show you, because we actually have a forced checkmate. Try and pause the video, try and spot this checkmate, because I think this one is a beautiful mate that everyone really should know. But what do we have to set up this checkmate before I go ahead and go into it? Well, our queen is currently pinning this knight to the king. Now that's not a necessity, but our queen is looking at this king. Also, they have doubled rooks and are threatening their own attack. But what we have is we have 2 attackers on this knight. And think about it this way. After we capture this knight, and let's just say they take this way, what happens in the position? Their rook that was doubled is no longer doubled and is now actually undefended. And when we capture that rook, their other rook has to block to stop the checkmate. I'll go ahead and show this example just to illustrate it, but the point that I'm trying to show in this one is that you can actually deflect this rook off of the defense of this rook. And now notice you will be the one with the double attack, and it all relates to sacrificing the queen. Queen takes c7, and now you will see their rook is now undefended. Now when we take, we are the one that actually has the double attack, and when you take here, you have a checkmate. The third one is going to be teaching you guys how to use minor pieces to checkmate the king. Specifically, I'm going to be talking about using minor pieces to pull the king. A lot of times in your games, minor pieces are the ones that are going to pull the king out of its defense, out of its safety. And in this position, we notice their king looks very, very weak. How can we pull their king out of safety to deliver checkmate? Currently, the king has 2 different squares they can run to. So, how can we cut off these squares? We can start by playing a move like this. Knight d5. Now neither of these squares are squares that they can move to. Or sorry, they can't move to this square, but now they can go here. But now we're going to continue pulling them forward. Where can the king go? Use your minor pieces to calculate where the king is able to go to. Well, the king can't go to one of these squares, and it can't go here, and it can't take the pawn. The king's only square is here. Now, if we could deliver a checkmate here, if we could just stop this, we could give a check and then force it this way, obviously it'd be an easy checkmate, but we can't. There's no easy move. I mean, if we play this move, the king is just going to run here, and we're not gonna have any continuation. But we do have a continuation by using our minor pieces. What we can do is actually play this move. By pulling the knight to f3, now we open up a few options for the king. Well, actually only one option. The king can only take here. We cut off this escape square. Now, why would we play this? Why would we pull the king to this square? Well, it's because let's calculate a little deeper. Once we pull the king to this square, notice we have a move, and actually it's checkmate in one. Try to calculate it yourself. I want you guys to try and, practice this yourself. I think it's how you'll improve. But the move you play is after this move, and they go here, you have a checkmate by bringing the knight back, and this is a beautiful checkmate. Notice now how these knights just completely dominate this king. The pawn covers here, and the bishop cuts this off as well, so it is a beautiful checkmate. Use your knights to pull the pieces closer to your area of the board where you can deliver a checkmate, to pull them away from their defense. Now, this fourth one is beautiful. I'm sure a lot of you all have seen this. If you're newer to chess or you're an intermediate player, maybe there's a chance you haven't seen this. Specifically probably beginners mostly, but this is a smothered mate, and this is one of the best checkmates you can have, in my opinion. I think it's beautiful. But the move you play here is you give this discovered check. Now, why do you give the discovered check? Because now you will actually sacrifice your queen, and you guys will see why we do this. Because once we sacrifice the queen, the king cannot take, right? Because the knight covers it. So they only have one move. They have to take with the rook. And by taking with the rook, what happens? They actually leave this square open, and now the king will have no moves. I'll go ahead and show you guys, but as we play this move here, notice the king has no moves. Now, this is very important that you realize that this position can happen in so many things. Even in the opening, believe it or not, we can actually deliver a smothered mate if they're not prepared or they're not careful. And it all relates to forcing the pieces to just clog up the king. So notice we forced our queen here to force their rook there, which now clogs up the king. The king has no rooms. We put pieces that block the king from moving, which now allows us to deliver this beautiful checkmate with the knight because the king has nowhere to run to. This last one is kind of advanced, but what I'm really trying to illustrate here is we actually have a checkmate using the knight and the rook combination. Now, how we achieve this checkmate is very advanced, and I don't blame you guys if you're not able to spot it. Try to spot it before I show it. I gave you guys a hint. We're going to be using the knight and the rook for checkmate. Now, obviously, the knight and the rook are not going to achieve checkmate in this exact position. We have to actually play a beautiful move first. But what we want to do is we want to lure the king into an area where the knight and the rook can deliver a checkmate. So how do we do that? The first move we play is we sacrifice the queen. Queen takes h2, and it's a beautiful, beautiful move. And the reason we do that, again, is because we're trying to lure the king closer so that we can deliver a checkmate. Now, here's the point I really wanted to show you guys. I wanted to get to this position to show you all how the knight and the rook work together to deliver a checkmate. Now, the pawn is actually going to deliver a very, very important role here. The pawn is going to support our rook, allowing us to place this rook on g2 to deliver this check, forcing the king over here. Now, although how we reached this position was very advanced, this is the part I wanted to illustrate, because this happens all the time in your all's games, and I want you all to see this. In your all's games, there are often times where you could put this king in the corner like this. And all you would have to do if you had a bishop or a queen, it doesn't matter, but some piece to support this rook, because now this knight can deliver a checkmate on g3 by using the rook to cut off some of the squares and using the knight to deliver the official checkmate. Now, these are just 5 different advanced checkmating patterns. There are so many more. If you like this video and you want to see something, if you want to see more like this or different checkmating patterns, please let me know in the comments. I can make more videos for it. Also, let me know what content you guys would like to see in future videos. Again, if you like this video, please give it a like, consider subscribing, and if you want some personalized chess coaching, we are officially live. Thank you guys so much for watching.